Hi, I'm Gaynor, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a variation of the masks that I've shown you how to make last month. These can be made from the kit that we sell at Riverside Beads. You're just adapting it slightly. This is what you make from the kit, and this is how I've shown you last month. It's very flat, and you have to sew the elastic into it as you're doing it. Got the nose piece, but you can see it stays very flat. This variation actually sits away from your face, which is much more comfortable. So what you do, you don't sew the elastic in. It's two variations. You can still put the pleats in, but then what you do in both variations, you oversew around about 1/2 inch or so, and then you thread the elastic through and stitch it. You gather it, so you're stitching it at either side. So you see it's slightly gathered. You just need a little bit more elastic for this, but the good thing is you can actually adjust it to the size of your face a lot better. The other variation, you're not doing any pleats in it whatsoever. You're just oversewing about 1/2 inch or so, and then you just thread the elastic through, and again, that's nicely gathered. So you start off with 3 8-inch squares. So it's 8 inches. Or just over 20 centimetres. Depends what you work in. This is a patterned material, and you can see it's actually got sewing machines on, so it's an idea if you had them the right way round, unless of course you didn't want them to. What you've got the interfacing. We sell iron-on or the non-iron-on, the sewing. Lining, that's the bit that goes against your face. This is a patterned material, but you can do them plain if you want. You can also do them with 2 pieces of patterned material back to back, but you have the right size facing. You always start off with the right side facing because we're going to turn it inside out. So start off, you do 1 centimetre seams, but what I tend to do, I would do it from the needle to the edge of there. We're going to back stitch to start off with because it saves you on to tie knots or thread the cotton through to the other side. So go up to the end. So that just works out nicely, about the width of the foot. Oops, nearly went too far then. Just along the bottom bit, you're leaving about 6 or 7 centimetre gap so you can turn inside out. Again, you do the back stitch. Just means that you can cut the cotton off and you don't have to worry about threading it through the other side. Now, what I would also suggest is you cut the corners off because it just reduces some of the bulk. Being careful not to cut the stitches, of course. So through the opening, you're going to turn it inside out. Turn it so that it's that and the lining, not the interfacing. Don't turn it through the middle of those, as my husband did one day when he was helping me. And return it the right way round. Poke it out. Some people use a pencil or other implement to poke the corners out, but I don't feel there's any need to go that sharp a corner, but of course it depends what you feel. There. Now we're going to pleat it. You can use normal pins, but I've actually gone on for these, which are very nice. We sell those at Riverside Beads as well. So it's about 1 inch or so, 1/2 inch pleat. You could measure it, but I find it's just as easy to do it by eye, really. 3 pleats, and you have the pleats going down so that it doesn't catch any nasty germs that are falling. And it'll actually end up around about 3 inches 8 centimetres-ish, something like that. Do the same the other side. So it's quite easy to match it up, do it by eye, and you can easily adjust it if not. But these clips are quite lovely. The only thing is you can't sew over them like you can with the normal pins. You could leave them in position and sew over them, which you're not able to do. Right, just need to adjust that middle one a little bit. See how easy it was to adjust it though? And at the moment you can see that looks very, very flat. Oh, I tell you one thing I did forget actually. But again, it's no problem. You need your pipe cleaner for the nose. So you take your pipe cleaner, fold it in half and just turn the end bits over just a little bit. Just stops it poking in your face. A little bit more difficult when you've pinned the pleats in, but as long as you're not sewing it. Thread it up to roughly in the middle. You can slide it along a little bit just to adjust it. So that's roughly in the middle. That's 3 fingers either side. I'm now going to box it in. So we'll just start by back stitching. Being careful not to get too close because you will bend or break the needle. So to the end, a little bit beyond. And again, box it in. A little bit of back stitching. Now what you can do at this stage, if you wanted, if you haven't already boxed that in first, just go one or two stitches forward, and then I'm just going to go straight on to doing my top stitch. This is a lot closer. Now the only thing is with these clips, as I say, you can't sew over them. You do have to take them out, but keep your fingers on the pleats and just assist it going forward. When you get to the bottom where you've got that open bit, just push the bits in, make sure they're fairly level. Now you're going to sew over that gap. So up to the end, take these clips off. To the top. So up to your stitching and then 2 or 3 back stitches again. Then you just cut your threads off. Right, okay, get the clips out of the way. Now what you're going to do is over sew it about 1 centimetre. I find it, once you've got it turned over, it's just as easy to work from this side. As I say again, I do it from there to there. If you've got that on the edge of there, that's all right. Start a bit from the top so you can do a couple of back stitches. Just going through quite a lot of seams there to the end, back stitch again. Lift your needle up. Cut the threads off. Do the other side. Right, now then this is where you get your elastic. Now you can do it the old-fashioned way with a pin and thread it through, as long as your pin will go through all those pleats. I find that it can sometimes catch on the pleats. You can get tools where you poke it through, like a latch hook, which I've also got. But to me, this works just as well. A darning needle. Nice big-eyed darning needle. It's not sharp either. Thread a little bit of that through there. Does seem to stay quite well in position as well. And you just thread it up through there, and it just seems to go past all of the seams without catching on anything. Leave it a little bit longer, that side, because you are going to gather that side up. And then what you do, back stitch it over the elastic to keep it in place along your seam. So back stitch, just go backwards and forwards a couple of times. It'll just keep it all in place. Cut the elastic off. Not the elastic, you cut the cotton off. Then gather that bit. You can pin it then if you want, just to keep it in place. Depends how tightly you want it gathered. You're going to sew it. Just overstitch it a few times. Cut the ends off. Then you can adjust that gathering. You see how it's gathered it up, look. It's reduced it by an inch-ish at least. You can make it tighter if you like. The tighter you've got it, the more it's going to bouffant out. Still got the nose piece in. Then you can adjust the knot. You can tie the knot to the size of your face. And that's it. Thank you for watching.